During these past few weeks, as Cindy and I and Faith Friends have met with these young people, we have talked a lot about what it means to be a follower of Jesus Christ. We've talked about God, and we've talked about Jesus, and we've talked about the Holy Spirit. And then last Sunday, as I had an opportunity to individually talk to each of these young people, reminding them that we do not come to proclaim Jesus as Lord as a congregation, but we come as individuals. And so I asked each one of them and told each one of them that it is equally as courageous to say, I'm not ready, as it is to proclaim, yes, I am ready. But each one of them in their own beautiful way said, yes, I'm ready. And then I listened to them as they described to me what it meant to them to say that Jesus Christ is Lord in their life. And I heard them express it with such a clear and simple way at times, but in a very deep way. And I challenge each of us today to ask that question. What does it mean to you to say that, yes, I'm a follower of Jesus Christ? What does it mean to you to say that Jesus is Lord of my life? Because as we stand here today, we do stand in a time of palms and crosses. In many ways, for these young people, today is a day of Palm Sunday. It's a day of celebration. It's a day when they feel the great support of all of you, the great support of their parents and their faith friends. They stand here and they feel it. They feel the strength of those around them saying yes as they say yes. But you and I and they know that there are days when they will not feel the presence of all of us around them. There will be times when each of them will have to stand alone and make decisions that only they can make about what it means to follow Christ. And in those times, it may not be so much about a celebration and Hosanna, blessed is he that comes in the name of the Lord. But in those days, it may be much, much more like what it is to kneel at the foot of the cross and be reminded that Jesus, who came, did not just come for times of celebration and joy, but also comes in those times of darkness and despair, and times when we seek forgiveness for the things that we have done that we know are not right. Larry Sweet has a Palm Sunday sermon entitled, Jesus and the Red Carpet. Sort of puts it in terms of perhaps of what we feel like as we think about 2.5 million people, they say, gathered there in Jerusalem to prepare for the Passover. They came anticipating celebration, and then they heard that Jesus was coming. And as they heard that, a crowd gathered. And can you imagine what the disciples felt like that day? I mean, they had been listening to Jesus, and at times they were watching him, and perhaps, as we know later, they begin to wonder, is he really the Messiah? Because he's really not taken over like I thought he would. He's not really ruling like I think a king should. But on that day, can you imagine how excited they were when all of a sudden everybody seemed to be ready to follow Jesus? I'm sure that if they had t-shirts back then, they would want to have it right there. Jesus is number one, so everybody can see. And even to say, and I've been with him from the beginning, because at that time they would want everybody to know that, yes, I'm all about Jesus. But we know now, looking back, that it wasn't too many days from there. These very same disciples who were all about Jesus that day, when all the crowd around them were going, go, Jesus, go. But they begin to wonder, who indeed is this man? As they begin to see him not so much talking about ruling as dying, as they begin to see that he was really serious when he said that he had to die. And we know that these very people who were there saying, yes, I'm all about Jesus, were the very people who ran from Jesus. It says, you know, that when the going gets tough, the tough get going, but in their case, when the going got tough, the tough went hiding. Have you ever done that? Today I want to ask you what it means to you to be loyal to Jesus. Not only on the high and holy days as today, but in those days when dark despair, in the days when you listen to the news and you read the newspaper and you feel the brokenness of the world and you begin to wonder if we really make a difference at all in a world that seems so bent on hurt and terror and all about us instead of all about God.